right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching us across the state in Nigeria. I'm saying welcome, welcome, welcome. And the first opening message I really have to put out there is the fact that is the permanent voters card the greatest power of Nigerians right now, heading straight into the election. I had campaign. And of course, in 2015 and 2019, Nigerians had their PVCs, but yet we still ended up with what we have today in our hands. So I tell us today that the PVC is not the only power, but the combination of our senses, yes, with the PVC to make the right choice as we remain the total power for Nigerians of Nigerians. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, Kike Atanda-Owo. And of course, quite a number of things have been happening in our social media space. And of course, you know, there are quite a number of hardship that is going on right now. But guys, let me put that aside. Let me just go straight to the On This Day Industry segment, because Nigeria and African leaders, you know, pledged to send more peacekeeping troops to conflict zone. And of course, Nigeria deployed 800 soldiers to the United Nations or United Mission in Darfur. And let's get more on this Day Industry segment. Stay with me. We'll be right back.
January 2017, Nigeria and African leaders pledged to send more peacekeeping troops to conflict zones, especially the Western Sudan region of Darfur, and to boost their role in world affairs. Nigeria deployed 800 soldiers to the United Nations mission in Darfur. Fighting erupted in Darfur in 2003 when ethnic minority rebels rose up against the Arab-dominated government in Khartoum, which responded by recruiting and arming the terrorist Arab-dominated militia known as the Janjaweed.
Fantastic. I must say that's a laudable gesture, you know, by Nigeria and of course, Buhari's administration, you know, at the time. But, you know, thinking aloud, you know, listening to this On This Day in this segment, I kept on saying we haven't kept our own home fronts, to be precise, very safe with peace before sending our troops out. So I'm asking myself, you know, what kind of perception or what kind of legacy? I still believe in the philosophy of removing the speck in your own eye before the eye of the next person. So this On This Day in this segment, even though it's a laudable one for our sitting president right now, President Muhammadu Buhari, but I still feel that there are quite a number of challenges when it comes to insecurity, when it comes to peacekeeping in our country that we're still struggling with. But that's all for this Day in history segment. Please, let's go straight to get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with me. We'll be right back. Fantastic. I must say that's a laudable gesture, you know, by Nigeria and of course, Buhari's administration, you know, at the time. But, you know, thinking aloud, you know, listening to this On This Day in this segment, I kept on saying we haven't kept our own home fronts, to be precise, very safe with peace before sending our troops out. So I'm asking myself, you know, what kind of perception or what kind of legacy? I still believe in the philosophy of removing the speck in your own eye before the eye of the next person. So this On This Day in this segment, even though it's a laudable one for our sitting president right now, President Muhammadu Buhari, but I still feel that there are quite a number of challenges when it comes to insecurity, when it comes to peacekeeping in our country that we're still struggling with. But that's all for this Day in history segment. Please, let's go straight to get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with me. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. And on the show today, I have a strong guest on the show coming from a powerful political party in the country. And of course, he has vowed to take back the commercial capital of not only Nigeria, but West Africa from the hands of APC. And of course, that being said, my real talk on the live show today is being the last day of January will be that we need to revolve around the look and will I say, expectations of the gubernatorial election coming up in March 11th, 2023, according to INEC calendar. I must emphasize on that. So the People's Democratic Party has been in the news consistently, and one of such promises by the national chairman in the person of Iyachuka Ayu, who said that, you know, the party will make history by displaying the ruling All Progressive Party, which is the APC, and of course, not only in Lagos State, but across 24 other states, in addition to the presidency come 2023. And of course, I have the right hand today, you know, from the PDP gubernatorial side, who is going to be throwing a lot of light on the issue at hand. But before I go straight to the topic, I think it's important for us to get a quick look at his profile. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome to the show, Dr. Olajide Adediran. Adeniran, it's really a pleasure to have you on Adediran. It is really a pleasure to have you on the platform today. And I think it's important for me to just go straight to the topic at hand, because I know Jimmy Agbaje, you know, came in 2015. I hope I'm correct. And of course, 2019 as well. And he failed to capture, will I say, Lagos State from the supremacy, so to speak, you know. And right now, I'm thinking in my head over the 8-year period of building the network in Lagos, and of course, you know, beyond what seemingly seems like, you know, he has accumulated, will I say, an emergence, you know, from all that he has done thus far, and of course, from the emergence of your primaries as well. I must emphasize on that. So, what are you doing differently, you know, from your predecessors, so it doesn't look like, you know, another customer Daniwa or something like that, you know, just keeping it real on the platform?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. And first, if you look at our own story, this is not a project that we venture into 9 months to election. You mean about the same time everybody will just say, okay, it's that season again, let's go. No, this will be the 8th years that we've been on the struggle. And you can liken our situation to what played out at the center in 2015, before APC eventually now broke the monopoly of 16 years of PDP at the center. You know, the first thing that happened within PDP at that time was what can be best described as implosion. You had some governors and followers leaving the PDP, and come to the state of Lagos. We were in the APC. Okay, I mean, we brought together all the disgruntled elements within the APC, gave them voice. All of us came together to say, you know what, enough of one person refusing to give people the selection choices to determine who fly the flag of the party. And we took that struggle on until when we were able to put ourselves together and say we'll be leaving APC for PDP. So leaving APC for PDP at that time was a deficit for APC, and we took that to PDP. So from the party that has been winning election now to the party that has been doing 35 to 45% every election cycle, which means that what they need to cross that threshold is what we have brought from APC into PDP. So, and with our activities of going everywhere, speaking to the people, eating the nail, where necessary, it's a game for us to lose this time. If you throw it away, it's just our choice. But I know, and they do know as well, that it's over. We are going to win them, and we're going to form the next government in Lagos State.
Fantastic submission right there. But listening to you, I can't help but ask about the dreadful jam that we have when it comes to traffic in Lagos State today. And I know that, that's the cost of living, especially when it comes to transportation, is not smiling at the commoners at the moment. So I must ask you, this is not to benchmark, let me put it out there, what you would do against what APC is doing at the moment, or what they have done, so to speak, with all the new railway and the likes that they just commissioned, the blue rail and all of that. But what exactly are you going to do, to better the transportation system in Lagos particularly?
Okay, I think what Lagos needs really is what we have called a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air, not only in that sector that you mentioned, in all sectors of our economy. And let's speak to transport. I think it's about time we have a fresh thinking, a new ideas.
Okay.
For 20 years, we really had one head thinking for everybody in Lagos, but it's about time we open the space and allow people to come in and think. But let's go straight to the issues. First thing to do is to be able to identify those flashpoints. If you can't govern a state that you don't know, you understand, you need to be deliberate and know what you want to do. So some of these traffic flashpoints, not all of them require infrastructural renewal. I mean expansion of roads or flyover. Some is a strong will from the man who is leading the state to say, okay, I'm not going to take this from you. I give an example of some axes in Lagos. We have this flashpoint, about 12 of them actually, Oshodi, Aja, Yanopaja, all of this area. But if you look at some of these axes, let me give you, okay, I made an example of if you're going to, let's say you're going to Ebeda, Lasuiba Road, and there is a turnoff where you have, after Yanopaja, where you have people going to Ayobo, then you are now facing that Ebeda road. When you enter that road, you see a build-up. And the build-up you think is the intersection that is coming from Akuwonjo that is causing that build-up. It is not. Because at that point, before that intersection, what you see are people trading on the streets. What you see is last-mile people asking, motorists to park, and, even policemen and NURTW taking tolls in that place. So solution to that place is that you have to just clear all of those people off the road, create a lay-by where you can just enter and park and drop passenger. You understand? And the road frees to wherever it's going. And if you go front again, people busting out of Orelokwe is causing another traffic in that place because they're busting out from that junction and then turning in. So all you need to do is block that and let them go and trade there. So you free down the road to, Idimu roundabout and face Lasu Iba Road. So Lasu Iba Road, what you have is Loma truck on the road. There's a dump site there. Those ones are there permanently, stationary. They're causing traffic. On this other side, you go to bus stop. They're doing the same thing they're doing in Egbeda in that place. So you need to clear that place. So those areas, they require you to build anything like flyover and all of that. Unlike Lekki-Aja Expressway, which you need to do a lot of alternative routes and also flyover all intersection. That's what we're going to do. If you notice, they've done several intervention in that Lekki-Aja, but it's not changing anything. They've broken the turnoff, creating some, but it's not resolving the matter. So solution to that place is just to fly over every intersection. If you fly them over, if you don't have business beneath, you just go on your own, and you see that everybody is just on their own. So that's what we'll do to address that area. Then, if you go to the likes of Oshodi, if you're coming from let's say Ladipo, coming into Oshodi, you understand? There is nothing in Oshodi now. It's just the same people selling market and stationery. You remember Fashola cleared the entire Oshodi sometimes, but they are returning there because nobody is enforcing the law anymore. So we will do that to enforce the law. Then in terms of free up our roads, I gave an example of us. Yes, of course, they're celebrating what you call blue line now. Don't let me go there. But this 2023, we should be talking about integrated rail line system in the state of Lagos. If the revenue that has accrued to us is anything to go by, we should be talking of a rail line that is coming from Ikorodu, intersecting in Ikeja. You know, you can join from Ikeja back to Alagbado, and some people can face island from there. This is what we should be speaking to now, and this is what we are coming up with. But aside that, in our water transportation that we have currently, you see that the only thing you have is Epakodo, people taking ferry from Epakodo down to the island there, and also on the Ojo axis. We have not taken care of people coming from Epe, Ibeju, and the likes, so we are going to take care of that. And also we free up the third mainland bridge, because if you're coming on the third mainland bridge in the morning, what you're left, you see an expanse of land in Uwuroshoki. We will build a park and ride in that place. You know, we'll give it to private sector. There will be the park and ride, a very befitting one, that if you're coming from the mainland, so rather than going on the third mainland bridge and had to the pressure of third mainland bridge, you can actually move there and park, take a ferry, you know, from there to the island. And when you get to the island, this ferry can even come with an alien vehicles, you know, on the island that you book together, that the moment you get to the jetty here, it takes you to wherever you want to go. It returns you there. I mean, that's how to plan a megacity.
You know, listening to you, for me, I feel that all of these things are very good, you know, in terms of structure and trying to plan all this process of the axis that you've mentioned. But, you know, I feel that it's an issue of insecurity and population listening to you right now. Those are the things that came to mind because, you know, talking about insecurity, Lagos has the highest, you know, rush of people from different parts of the world that wants to come and live in Lagos. That's the honest truth, because Lagos is an attraction for most of the states today. And I'm wondering, in my head, I'm thinking aloud that with all these different parts that you have mentioned in Lagos, the argument is that every citizen of Nigeria right now has the freedom of movement, you know, and I would like to know what are you doing regarding the population, balancing all of the things that you've cited earlier regarding the insecurity that is ongoing in Lagos State today? Okay,
so there are two things you have spoken about now: influx of people into our state and insecurity. You see, the first thing we need to do is to first decentralize development, you know, and ensure that all the wings, I mean, are also developed. I will give you an example. When Ikeja Mall came to Ikeja, the Ikeja City Mall, you remember, it was the first mall that came. When it came to Ikeja, you see people coming all the way from Alagbado, Songo, and the likes coming into Ikeja Mall. And the mall closes at 9 p.m. So when the mall closes, they won't leave. They are there. Some of them are sleeping in that premises. Some of them are, you know, constituting. So the solution to that is that just give them their own mall where they are. They will stay there. So this is how to decentralize, you know, development. If we do that, we keep that. In terms of security, I've spoken about this over and over again. What we need to do is to, as government, first to buy the trust of the people. You understand? Now, we engage in intelligentsia community policing before we come to, you know, buying everything, so that we'll take on a preventive measure in policing our community. How? If I have a very good rapport with the CDAs, with the CDs as governor of the state, and they know that they can send me a message and I can spontaneously respond to that message, they will give me information because they know there's a solution coming. We have had a governor in this state before who was very proactive in terms of that. So the moment I get a message from either of them, I know that I'm forwarding that message to a particular quarter who will take action, because I'm the one forwarding the message to that. If they are the one sending message to that person, it might really not want to take any action. So we'll first do that. So if we do that, you then see them giving us information. I've spoken about kidnappings in this country before. I've spoken about armed robbery. If anybody is kidnapped in this country today, they are kept in a political ward where you have a councillor. They are kept in a village where you have a chief, a high chief, or a king. I don't know if you understand. But until you involve them, you know, in governance of the state, you might not get what you need. So with that, somebody can send a message to you, knowing fully well that you are going to protect him and you are going to respond to it and say, we just had something in our area, and send you a message. And before you know it, we'll move in there. That's the first thing we need to first do, buy their trust. Because yes, we will buy guns and all of that. And I've spoken about the robbery during traffic hours, because that is very rampant in Lagos today. And I've said that, look, we have some people that this government has given our parks and garages to, and they are making free money there. I don't know if you understand. And for me, if they're there and they're making free money there, all I need to tell whoever is managing that garage to say, look, the day they rob my people in this corridor, that is the day I'm going to take the garage away from you. You will see that that person will secure that corridor. If they're not even the ones sending people to go and do all that. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So if you begin to tie people's means of livelihood that is around you into, just like you give a small store to a market woman and you say, this shop I've given to you, I want to see you, if the day is dirty, I'm going to take it away from you. You see that that woman will be sweeping it every day because she makes money there. So these are the things that we need to return to. Aside procurement of buying guns and all of that. Again, on the insecurity, when you have issues like that, you have to look at it holistically. I made an example of Rahim, the late Rahim, God bless her soul, that was shot on Christmas Day in Naija. As governor of Lagos State, what I would have done differently is to look at the matter of this police brutality to say, it appears, okay, we can come back to deal with it. What is the one that I know that can quickly work on is the issue of the fact that the lady was taken to a hospital in Etiosa and she was rejected, despite the fact
hospitals.
Exactly, despite the fact that there was a law, which says you must take gunshot wounds and treat them first. So I would have sanctioned those hospitals, sanctioned those hospitals, and by so doing, I'll be sending messages to all other hospitals in Lagos State, and that would avert replica of such an unfortunate incident. I don't know if you understand. But no, this one didn't even know what to do. You just have to go to IG and take photo ops to say, I'm taking the matter up. You need to look at it holistically and see which one can you quickly do to make sure. And again, we have, what's it called? A general hospital in Etiosa. We will not be speaking to this one. The land given to government to build general hospital is where they have Royal Garden Estate today. And we have stories of that of Lagos of 24 years over and over again. So it's a leadership problem. And if you have the right person in the office who is mentally and physically fit, we won't have this problem. We'll fix Lagos.
Fantastic submission right now, I must emphasize, because, I've listened to you over and over talk on different platforms, and I must, put it out there that aside your courage, and of course lending your voice and wanting to fight for the people of Lagos, I must commend your leadership skills and of course how you articulate all your points out there, which I feel that that's one of the leadership skills that we need in terms of somebody that should be governing us. But right now, let me move away from that. I possibly have a good scenario in my hands right now about, will I say, possible future scenario. Should you emerge as Lagos State Governor, as it is, most of the House of Assembly member and of course, the Senate are predominantly APC. How do you think that all that you have shared right now do allow it to come to reality? How do you want to align with them? How do you, in terms of political differences, let me put it like that, to work with them without your governance objective, being compromised, so to speak, with all that you have shared right now? Because I feel that when you don't have people like your party at the Senate, definitely they will compromise all that you have shared thus far.
Okay, maybe you want to speak of the State House of Assembly, because
yes,
those are the one that will be having business with at the state level. But let me first assure you that I'm winning with all my assemblies in Lagos State, 40 of them. Okay. We're going to beat APC silly. So I would not have problem, having to deal with them. And again, if you look at some of the things that I've read out, the majority of them don't even require legislation, so to speak, for me to take, some policies which is within my power. And again, if I have, of course I won't have, I will have my people in the assembly. And even if they are my people, I'm sure they won't just be rubber stamp as assembly members. We will sit down and discuss with ourselves and look at this particular thing on its own merit. And we think of Lagos first and say, okay, this legislation has to go, because we have to do a whole lot in terms of legislation in Lagos State, so that we can give the organized private sector, confidence that they can deal here. Not a situation whereby they are coming to play your economy, somebody is asking for equity in their business or stake in their business before you can give them an enabling environment. We will dismantle all of that. We will break down monopoly and ensure that we open the space for everybody to be able to come, and we will back it up with legislation. Even if we are not there, they know that if I invest my money in this economy, it is safer. I mean, how do you do business for fixing a rail line for 13 good years? I don't know if you understand. What is supposed to be a 27 kilometer is now shortened to 13 kilometer. It's still not completed. Every now and then, because you want to show that you're doing something, you are pre-commissioning and pre-commissioning, and celebrating, because that's failure. Now that we should be speaking about integrated rail lines, we celebrate. So a whole lot have to change. We need to look at our economy. We need to be specific and deliberate about what we want to do. We have opportunities here. We have a 180 kilometer coastline, in Lagos. That is enough for us to call 2, 3, 4 companies and say, come and give us a Miami-like waterfront here. We'll boost, your economy and all that. So a lot has to change. So for me, I'll have an assembly that we are going to work together, 40 of them. They won't just be a rubber stamp assembly.
Okay, I hear you. With all that you've shared thus far, I want to take us back to security. And of course, some of the axes that you've mentioned, I feel that they are Togri dominated, if you ask me. So, past circumstances, the current governor of Lagos State right now, I feel that Togri is gradually, dominating Lagos at the moment. And some of the axes, like I said earlier, that you mentioned, all those Oshodi, I don't know, I've not been to most of those places, I must confess. But, with all that is happening at the moment, sometimes I just feel that the police, yes, I like to keep it real on this platform, regardless that I'm a daughter of a former DIG. The police sometimes play aloof to some of the challenges that we found in our hands, because most of the time you find out that the police will be in those areas, and at the end of the day, they are not actually reacting to such crises at the moment. How would you be handling all of this political talk, so to speak, because of one of the submissions you mentioned earlier regarding, Tog even being in charge of some motor parks and the likes and all of that? But how do you want to, handle such talk, when it comes to fighting them regarding some of the issues that happen? And also in Ipori, the one that happened in Surulere. What's your take on this?
Okay, so first let me speak to the what you call blighted community that you spoke about, where you have all of these things. I'll keep referring, if there's what we call literature review. If you're a good student of this thing, you can't but, take experiences and share. Keep referring to a time when we have, and before you can do that, you have to be an Omo Egburu. If you're not, you can't even govern Lagos, and that's the truth.
Really?
Yes, you can't.
Okay.
Because, the governor that came that time, we looked at all the loops under the bridge and all of that, and cleared all of them. I don't know if you understand. Cleared all of them. And at that time, they cleared all of them. He used the same people, to work and grow and make a lot of floral parts.
Governor, if I may ask?
Governor Fashola, of course, made a lot of floral parts, and in those areas. And we had sanity in the state. Do you know why he was able to do that? He played soccer, and they were the one growing up playing soccer with all those under bridge and all that. And I mean, you understand? And it's the kind of background that I have. I mean, growing up in Mushi and all of that. I will tell you, if anybody cut your pocket and I look at it in Mushi, I'll say, it is Morufo that cut pocket like this, and we can get him for you. I don't know if you understand. That is you understanding your terrain. So if you must secure, you must understand the people and all of that. So having done that, during COVID, I was in my house. I went there and I said, this is a very rare opportunity for a very serious governor in Lagos State during the clampdown, during the, what do you call it, to go around and wrap up everybody that is homeless in the state of Lagos. I will go into garages. The moment you are there, it shows you don't have a house, you don't have a home. Under bridges, you don't have a home. I will put them together and take them to Itoiki, where we have all of these things and rehabilitate them there. You will see the ones that want to do vocational training and all that. And before that, we would have returned, because COVID also came with that. But if you if you're not a visionary leader, you will not see it. I saw it. I said, this is a very rare opportunity for you to just go around and say, okay, come. If you have a house, you won't be here because there is a stay-at-home order everywhere. Put them together, rehabilitate them, and give them something else to do. So what I'm saying in essence is that those people, they are there, they're doing what they're doing now because that's what they see. If you give them alternative, majority of them are not riffraffs. You understand? Somebody was talking to me today and he said, oh, you're something of Lagos. I said, look, maybe I'm just, what is it called, with privilege of education, area boy with privilege of education and exposure.
So talking about privilege of education, because I feel that statistically, Lagos State has more literate and elite class than any other part of Nigeria today. So, and likewise, the largest, will I say, road transportation union, workers who are active, based, even knowing that you are street smart as well with all that you have shared thus far, these are dynamics that I feel that election stage should actually be looking at in terms of statistics and how to know what kind of change that they should be bringing on the table. Just like, what are you doing with those dynamics? How do you want to use the elite and the literate that are on the island today, or in Lagos, so to speak, to try to, be of an advantage to your own campaign?
If I understand what that means, of course, we have couple of them on our train.
Okay.
And I mean, they're doing very well. But because I'm just trying to figure out your question really on this, because I know you've spoken about education, you've spoken about URTW. But again, I keep saying this, what we have in our hands is a leadership problem. And if you don't first know the problem you have, you won't be able to resolve it. So speaking about education today, it might be late for some people, but can we look at our tomorrow? You understand? Our tomorrow in the sense that we have over 2 million of our children out of school. I don't know if you understand. If we're able to bring them back to school, take them off the street from now, so we're taking care of our tomorrow from there. And we have a policy of coming in, and the first thing to do is to see how much of them we can spread across over 5,000 registered private schools that we have in Lagos. I'll give them to the private school, give them uniform, give them learning aids, and in exchange for tax holiday or incentive with the school. I'll also sit down with owners of churches and mosques and see how much of these children I can use. I say, give me your space. I know you don't use this space between the school hours. I can make use of this space. I have a lot of our children out of school. So we first change this over 2 million out of school, thing, and put them somewhere.
I have a follow-up question on that, but let's go on a quick break to get the message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, I'm saying welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. And of course, I have been talking to Dr. Olajide Adediran, aka Jando. Yes, guys. Yeah, because I'm really excited to have this gubernatorial candidate on the platform today for PDP in Lagos State. And of course, we have been discussing about election. We'll be talking about the political arena and of course the economic and the welfare development in the state, and of course the build up towards the gubernatorial election. I must say many thanks for all your submission thus far. It's been an insight right there. But quickly, before we go further, I think it's important for me to quickly open the phone lines. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio numbers 08098877400 showing on your screen right now. And we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube page, both on Silverbird platform and on Real Talk with Kike. Like I said, many thanks for all that you've shared thus far. But sustaining this mega city of Lagos, has a metropolis, how will I put it now, state, so to speak, is another area. And I just feel that in your interview, you said that, I think in your interview today, somebody actually called my attention to it that I was not privileged to watch, regarding having wealth, and the wealth is only on papers. I hope I got the person right correctly, And I must ask you, you promised that you will run a populist government that would give people, priority to welfare of the residents in Lagos. With all that you've shared thus far as well, sharing your own vision and how you think that you can actually checkmate quite a number of things that is happening at the moment. How are you going to bring the wealth to life? If you're saying that the wealth is only in paper, how do you want to challenge those cabals, so to speak, in terms of the pocket of very Lagosians who are behind all of these accounts? And of course, some of them are watching us right now. How do you want to go about this?
I don't think there is anything like cabals hindering the wealth of Lagos working for the people of Lagos.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a monopoly that we need to break.
The word monopoly.
Yes, because you see, and we also have our own too as Lagosians. I don't know, there's this conspiracy of silence, and all of us just keep quiet. We won't even say, we won't even raise anything. Maybe it's juju, I don't even know, but that juju will spoil it this 2023. What we meant in our own blueprint, what you see is that we want to treat Lagosians, to a wealthy state in truth, as against the current state of Lagos, which is only a wealthy state on paper. Because what we hear is that this is the amount of money that we make, and they boast about it. But unfortunately, we can't see that amount of money on the street of Lagos. This morning, I was given an example of the 3-year budget, that this current governor has executed between 2020 and now, because 2020 was his first full-year budget of 812 billion. You understand? If you do a budget of 812 billion, okay, and you claimed that the budget has done 120% performance cumulatively in terms of revenue and expenditure, that means the budget has done so well. In 2021, you did another budget of 1.25 trillion. I don't know if you understand. And that one again, you came to report that the budget has done performance of 85.7% cumulatively. That's very okay. And again, in 2022, you did another budget of 1.758 trillion. Okay, second quarter of that year, you reported 77.9% performance of that budget in 6 months. So, and again, now looking at the state's trajectory from 2019, where you took over office, poverty rate at that time was 4.5%. And now it is 8.5%, with 4.2 million Lagosians in extremely poor. I don't know if you understand. Unemployment rate at that time was 14.6%. Now it's 37.6%. So the question you then ask yourself is, all the money that you claim to have put into the economy in terms of budgetary allocations with that performance, where did it go to?
So it's obvious.
Nobody is asking any question.
So when you say nobody is asking any question, because
have you
it's
ever
obvious,
on your program,
obvious
have you ever on your program put it in court of public opinion and say, hey, let's analyze this year's budget. This man just said this. What can you see?
We've done that back and forth.
Odoma, what can you see in your respective community that is a new thing that just sprang up or that is springing up? This governor will tell you something is being done in 4 years. Meanwhile, in 2 years of Ambode, we saw physical development, Ajah flyover, Abule-Egba flyover, Agege Pen Cinema, International Airport, International Road, and even with a ramp, another flyover. In just 2 years, we had that. But today, somebody is leaving office because he's going to leave. We are coming in. He's leaving office in another 2 months, and there is nothing to say, this is my legacy project, that anybody can point at. I mean, you didn't have that. You have to come on national TV to say, I did this. A project that I didn't do, he laid claim to it. I went to go and bust his bubble. No, you didn't do this project. This is the person that did this project. And he was commissioned so time.
So I'm happy that, someone like you have been checkmating them. I must use that word for lack of a better word right now. And it's obvious that, there's nobody actually checkmating the government and the public funds at the moment. But let me just put that aside. You mentioned one name that, resonates with me. Is one of, if you ask me, as far as I'm concerned, Fashola is the best governor in Lagos State at the moment. I'm sorry, I might not be able to pick any call at the moment. in and out of, will I say in, out of line of work as a journalist, because I know that you are also a journalist, which I feel that, you know, there are quite a number of rumors out there. So the public rumor to be investigated through journalism, you know, and that's what you and I do, you know, and all of that. So it's also said that you have been sponsored by the former Governor Ambode, you know, and I'm not against people, I'm not against Ambode, you know, because he's one of those that, like I mentioned earlier, that I feel that he has put that infrastructure, you know, that's, you know, what's the word now, that instrument, you know, to kind of vast the development that we are seeing in Lagos today. And I like the fact that you mentioned one of a few that he has done. He's somebody that I've worked closely with on many fronts, you know, working closely with him by proxy and of course by training and the likes and all of that. He's one governor I can tell you that I can go to my two high schools that he has done so much. But putting that aside, I must ask you.
We're not putting it aside, we're going to discuss it.
Okay, all right. However, I just feel like I would like you to clarify to quite a number of people that are you being sponsored by
so let me say
former
this
Governor Ambode?
Let me say this to you. Governor Ambode and Governor Fashola, these two gentlemen, like organs of mine, you understand, was very, very close to them. You understand?
I work closely with Fashola
yes,
as well.
Very, very close. And I mean, I work closely with BRF and even Ambode, not as governor, but as a Accountant General at that time. And one of the things that actually worried me and informed my leaving the party to do it elsewhere is because I don't know how somebody will come to Lagos and deliver 8 years excellent job, and after it was done, some people and other man, they started speaking ill of you, rubbishing your work, and you were unable to say a word. And these two guys are strong-willed individuals that I know, so that worries me. Secondly, Governor Ambode, I have huge respect for him. He was in office, he did well. He did a bridge up until 85%, that's Pennsylvania Bridge. This new government completed it with 15%, and they went under that bridge abusing him, and he did not also say a word. That worries me.
Referencing the work he did earlier.
Yes, sir. That worries me. And I carry my kangara and I had to leave because I actually don't want to be such governor. I don't know if you understand. I won't be able to put up a defense for my hard work and all of that. Now, what happened when they were making each other governors, I don't know. Today, the two leaders of mine, the two organs of mine, are avoiding me like a plague. And that's the truth. So
yeah, you're not being sponsored by them?
No. I can't even remember the last time I've spoken to, especially Ambode. I can't even remember. And none of them have said, Jando, you are doing a very good job. Take this one cover, or take this and all of that. It was like, so it caused for worry. But again, I know that they're happy. They want this to happen, and it's going to happen. So I'm just saying to you, I know them. They're good people, but as far as this is concerned, I don't know why they have refused to.
Could it be that they've been silent?
I don't know.
I don't know. I understand that we're running out of time, you know, because they're running commentary in my ears. Madam, we need to go because of time. But with what you've just shared right now, talking about being in the party before and now leaving the party because of what happened or what transpired, to Nigerians, it seems to them that all politicians are the same regardless of their party. You know, that seems like a perception that is being used when it comes to people that defect from APC to PDP or vice versa, so to speak. So I must ask you, how do you want to clear the minds of Lagosians, being the former chairman of Lagos for Lagos under APC that you mentioned while you were there?
Quickly.
I'll appreciate if you can answer it in 2 minutes because we're running out of time.
You see, I was in APC, but I've never been elected there. I wasn't appointed there. I went there to understudy the situation so that we'll be able to do this. And if you look at my candidacy and that of my running mate Funke, it's a radical departure from the norm. We are what you can call a breath of fresh air, untainted, because, hey, can we just do something else? Can we try something else? And both of us, we've been employers of labor in this economy, so we understand what it means to run the economy, because we've had cost to source for fund, turn it around, make profits, pay salary, employ people, and still do good. Unlike the ones that are there now, all their lives they've been salary earners, from working in bank, working in clinical and paying. Even the beggar in their house was employed by the bank they were working for. So they wouldn't understand how to run an economy. So this is what we represent, a clearer departure from the norm. And the fact that we were not railroaded into this, we had conviction on our own. When I went to Funke to say, look, I want us to do this together, she ran away. She ran away. I have to run after her, sat her down, speak to her. She had that conviction to say, let's do it. Not that anybody say, this is your deputy, or Jando, go and do this. No, 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 no. We had conviction, and everything we say is going to be our own bond.
I love the fact that you were convinced about this, and I can only wish you the very best as a forge ahead. I wish I could ask you a follow-up question regarding, Funke Akindele, who is one of those people I also admire when it comes to the entertainment industry, but I understand we're running out of time. I say many thanks again for creating time to be on the platform today. But before I let you go, there's the last segment of the show that we call Trending Stories. This is a story that binds you and I as Nigerians, that interests us as families. And the first trending story that caught my attention is that of the, sacked Governor Ademola Adeleke, who appeals against the tribunal judgment. And this scenario, if you ask me, may actually happen to you. I'm just saying out there, let me hear your own perspective on this topic before I give mine.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, but I'm fortunate to find myself in a profession which makes you know something about everything and everything about something. You understand? Which is far better than even being a lawyer. So apologies to the lawyers out there. And what I noticed in that, and with my experience as even political correspondent over the years and cases that we have seen, and if I want to speak as a politician, I would say that the tribunal, I think they've done their job and probably have given receipts to some people to say, we have done your work. But if you look at it, I don't think it will stand. I don't think it will stand, because the practice of three people delivering judgment, you can't be silent. So we must have a majority judgment, and you must be able to state your reason to say, this is where I belong. You can't just co-sign. I mean, that's so clear. Aside the fact that, INEC is coming with an excuse to say, no, the first time you requested for a backup, what have you, it's incomplete, and all of that. So there's a lot of work for appeal to do. And I want to say it here. Adeleke will remain in office. Because it's people's mandates can't be taken away from them. They will remain in office. But it was a good thing that happened, because the moment it happened, we had to go back to our own, situation room and say, hey, look at this, look at that, and it's assisting us. It won't happen to us. We will win.
Amen. I pray so.
It won't happen to us.
So. All right. Anyways, I think that with what we've just shared, I feel that in Nigeria, the courts have the authority, to remove governors from the office, or will I say, for variety of reasons. I think it's important for me to lay it out there, which means maybe misconduct, which means probably violation of the Constitution, which means maybe electoral flaws as well. So we've had history in the past with one of these, I can't remember the name now, from Bayelsa State. We have Imoke also from Cross River State. We have Ibrahim Idris as well, from Kogi State. And I remember that there's an Aliyu, Wamakoko, who is also from Sokoto State, and the likes of David Umaya and Co. and the likes and all of that. However, I just feel that the Osun State won't be the last for me, because I like the fact that you said that when this happened, you went back to your drawing board to look at at the statistics on how to re-strategize with all that we found ourselves right now. For me, I feel that INEC should be absolute in deciding the outcome of election based on votes. For this is not the essence of the BVS and all of that. I just feel that the BVS has also been counted, and it's based on the choice and the wishes of the people in Osun State. So I'm asking in pain, why should something like that actually reoccur again? Because this is not the first time something like this is happening in Osun State. Also the fact that, I just feel that we shouldn't be dealing with controversial issues like this, because I feel that there are many issues, cases out there that affect, the people of Osun State. And the fact that only God knows how long this tribunal will take, because we know how things can go on in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the constitution of law and all of that. So I'm asking in pain, the people of Osun State right now, I feel that they shouldn't be going through this. Why should they be going through this? It is frustrating. They are frustrated, and the state has a developmental challenges, like I said, welfare of concerns that affect all of us, not just only in Osun State, but also in other states as well. And on the other hand, Jando, I just feel that the judge who pronounced, the judgment, making a mockery of his dancing skill of a governor, is rather very unprofessional. In as much as I understand that the ethical standard under the rule of law permits him to actually give his verdict based on however he wants to put it, but I just feel that it's a sensitive one, and most of the commoners on the road is as good as you just water down the judgment, because I'm asking myself, how does this dance, how does happiness affect you when it comes to the certain issues that we are going through right now? But in my opinion, I just feel that there are quite a number of things that our leaders who were placed in the corridor of power that are not sensitive enough, or would I say they don't have empathy. That's the reason why they actually do things without accountability, and that's where we found ourselves. Quickly, I hope we have time before they start running commentary in my ears again. I think the second trending story that caught my attention is that of the Lagos State, Lagos that ordered the trial of truck driver at Ojuelegba tragedy. When I saw this on Sunday, it's just unfortunate. But quickly, what's your take on this?
Well, again, I've said it earlier on that we like to chase this thing. During the debate, this came up, and I feel that, we used to have a law in this state which restricted the movement, of this truck to any time from 10 p.m. or thereabouts, so that they can travel at night. So I think what we just need to do is to bring back that truck. And if you have issues with some spots in Lagos that is notorious for accident, like Otedola Bridge, if you're heading to Baga, like this Ojuelegba Bridge, all you need to do is to find a way of do a barricade, or tell all these truck owners, don't ply this axis again. Go through Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway to enter the neighboring state, and look at what is the problem of that place, because every time this is what you see, and create a barrier in that place so that they don't take that anymore. So, and then restrict them closely. This permanent solution would be for us to have barges taking all these containers from the port to some dry ports if you have, but we don't have that now. So you have to make do with what you have. Do a policy that would inform you instead of sanity in the society.
All right, many thanks for your submission and lending your voice on this topic at hand, because I just feel disappointed with the Lagos State government on this issue. I feel, sorrowful for the lives lost, and also feel the family as well with the lost souls. And I call on Lagos State government right now. I feel that I need to, gaslight them a little bit with what has happened. What does a soul mean to them? It's the question that is coming to mind. And
let's wait until we have a government.
A single occurrences is also something that has continued to reoccur in this country, and I just feel that this has happened twice, this has happened 3 times. It's not news to us. So we have lost countless of lives with the truck killing quite a number of people, and I'm asking in pain. This Ojuelegba Bridge is not new. What are the measures that I've been able to put in place? Personally, when I drive behind trucks, I'm always in fear that anything can happen. These containers may fall and all of that. So do we have a sleeping governor or a sleeping government? I just feel that Governor Sanwo-Olu, says that the driver will face the trial in the court. Is that all? Is what I'm asking in pain? And for allowing so to continue to happen is also what I'm asking myself, that they have tens of people